What's up, everybody? My name is Brittney Calhoun-Morris. For those of you who don't know me, I am the creator and curator of the fashion apparel brand CalhounnuohlaC. Today, I am going to be taking you guys with me on a journey on the who and the why behind the brand. And for those of you who made it all the way over here from Instagram and from the emailing list to Posse, what's up, y'all? I have to say that you guys are truly and officially family. So thank you so much for that. Alright, let's dive in. Now, I know you guys are used to seeing me give you brand updates and body cam clips on Instagram and Facebook, but today I wanted to come to you with something a little different because I feel like it's really, really important. A lot of you guys support me, but I'm not 100% sure, I'm almost sure that you guys don't know exactly what it is that you are supporting. So I wanted to get clear on that for you today. Alright, so let me take you back a little bit. In 2014, I created this brand. Yes, that is about 6 years ago. The brand has been through, its ups and downs, but we are here and we are happy to be here. We're happy to be stuck it out. Now, the reason for the whole birth of this brand is because I have a huge passion for fashion as well as humanitarianism. I just wanted to do both. I felt like one without the other wouldn't satisfy me, so I had to merge my passions. So a few weeks ago, I had mentioned that the CalhounnuohlaC brand is tethered to a cause, and that cause is drug and alcohol addiction prevention and awareness. We pride ourselves on bridging the gap between fashion and humanity, and this is how we're doing it. Those of you who have shopped with me already, you have gotten a thank you card in the mail. What's up, y'all? So you guys kind of know where I'm going with this, but for those of you who don't, and for those of you who don't understand, 20% of all purchases are donated back to the drug community. So what that means is that we literally take 7% of your purchase and we donate it to local drug rehabilitation facilities. So what that does is allows those doors to stay open for recovering addicts so that they can further treatment, as well as AA meetings. It keeps those doors open as well so that people can continue to have a safe place to express themselves and vent and relate to other recovering addicts. Now, the remaining 13% goes back into the brand, which helps us fund our very own sober living home and drug rehabilitation facilities. But I know some of you guys are like, wow, that's dope. But that's hella random. Like, how did you come up with the idea to pair the two together? The reason being is that I come from a drug-inflicted family, and I grew up with a drug-inflicted mom. I wasn't going to share, to be honest, because I'm still a little, it's still touchy, and I still have my feelings about it, but I wanted to be 100% with you guys and know really what's what with this brand. I really wanted to just be transparent with you guys. So pretty much just about all of my life, my mom has been addicted to drugs, and it's very tough. Anyone who has a family member or a friend who is a drug addict knows exactly what I mean. This is not something that only affects the person who is the addict. That is absolutely the furthest thing from the truth. It's really tough because my mom missed out on a lot of very important moments in my life that I will not be able to get back, and she will never be able to experience due to this disease. And let's be clear, I say disease because that's what it is. Just as much as cancer is a disease, diabetes is a disease, yes, drug addiction is a disease, and alcohol is a drug. Believe it or not, it's actually the number one drug, the number one killer. Believe it or not. But yes, drug addiction, that is a a disease of the brain. It's reorganizing the way that you think. It's really messing with your neurotransmitter molecules. It is one of the hardest diseases to beat. I'll say that. Drug addiction is all about the reward. So that's why it's really tough for addicts to get off of drugs and to beat their addiction. Like a lot of people say, well, if they want to change their life, they can. All they got to do is stop doing drugs. But the thing is, these drugs attack the area in your brain that releases dopamine. Now imagine if you can manipulate the brain enough to always tell you that you're doing something good. That's what drugs do to the brain. They literally keep them on a reward system, because it's like, oh, you can get that sensation right away. It literally is a chemical that triggers your brain. It's a chemical dependency, and that's why it is a disease, because after so long the brain needs these drugs just to function, because you have altered your body and your brain in such a way that it can't function without it. So that's why a lot of people who are recovering addicts, when they do try to get clean, it's very difficult and they end up relapsing, because their body is almost like, how dare you take away what I need, and literally the body will begin to reject itself until it gets those drugs back in their system, because that's all that it knows. That is the reason why my brand is tethered to this cause, because I myself am a part of the drug community. Now, no, I am not directly a part of the drug community, meaning that no, I don't have a codependency or I'm not addicted. But because I have family members who have gone through it and who are going through it right now, I am still being affected to this day, and I will for the rest of my life, because I have memories that I have to live with. It's hard. It's really hard. I know some of you have family and friends who are struggling addicts right now and who need help. And I know for a fact that the conversation is not being had in the home, and that needs to change. This is what I'm doing to be a part of that change. Now, I wasn't always strong like I am today, strong enough to even talk about this. Because of that, I suffered a lot in my childhood because I didn't have an outlet and I didn't know how to express myself. When I say my mom has been a recovering addict all my life, I mean all my life. My earliest memory is back in elementary, and my mom used to take me with her to her drug rehab program. She used to take me with her to her program, and I used to be able to go with her in the summertime on Fridays because they would have like movie day. It was really dope. Pretty much like all of the recovering addicts were able to bring in their children, and they had like a children's center where, you know, the kids could mingle while the addicts were getting their treatment. But I used to love to go. I was like, my mom would say she has to go to class. So in my head, she's in school. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what, at that age, like 9 or 10. So my mom is, you know, she's in school. She's doing her thing. You know, like I go to school, she go to school too. My mom was graduating from a drug program. This was a drug program that she was forced to take because she had pretty much gotten caught up in the streets. And the judge said, either you get clean or you're going to do this time. So she went ahead and, you know, went through the program and was able to get clean. And what's crazy is we ended up graduating together that year. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, you know, because it's like, who gets to graduate with their mom? But in my head, I didn't know that it was, you know, a drug program. I didn't understand. Like, I'm 10 years old. Actually, I'm probably 9. And I just don't know. I just, you know, I'm just a kid, you know. It didn't register to me. So anyway, Mom got clean. We graduated together in year 2003, and life was good. That next year I would enter middle school, and middle school was so rough for me because unfortunately my mom had relapsed and she wasn't around a lot. Now I just have to say thank God for my granny, my grandma, Jackie Day. I have to say thank God for her because she made it so that we never lacked anything. And when I say we, I mean myself, my brother, and my cousins, and anybody else who was living with us at the time. Shout out to my grandpa too, Big J, who also kept the house running smooth. We never, if mom wasn't there, she wasn't there, but the show still went on, and I just thank God for my grandparents. But my granny was an addict as well. Not to drugs, but to alcohol. She could drink a fish out of water, and it was really, really bad. Now, again, I was so young that I didn't understand what was happening or even what an addiction was. Honestly, just to, keep it real, I didn't know what an addiction was and that it was anything bad. Every couple of days, I would go with my grandmother to the store. She would take me to the grocery store, and she would have to buy a bottle of E&J brandy, and she drank this every single night with Coca-Cola. Every night. I just thought okay, this is a grown-ups drink. I see a lot of grown-ups drink alcohol. I thought it was regular, but as I started to get older, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not normal. Now, when I got to middle school, I know I mentioned that was a tough time for me because it was, and nobody could pay me to do middle school over again. It was so tough, but these were the years where, I'm just finally putting two and two together, but these were the years when my mom really wasn't around, and my friends would ask questions, and I was so embarrassed because I didn't have the answers for them. It would just be gone, and not even far. That was the crazy part. She would literally be within 5 miles of the house. Yeah, I was really embarrassed about it. Like I was saying, middle school was such a tough time. It was really a time where I was trying to find myself and figure out which direction I wanted to go in, because I'm at a brand new school, I'm making brand new friends, and I'm really just trying to find my way. Me and my friends, we were jokesters. For some reason, we used to really get a rise out of crackheads. This is when we started to learn about how people can be addicted to drugs. Walking home, we would see them in front of the liquor stores and stuff. We literally would be like, oh my God, I do not want to be like them. We cannot end up like them. But we just thought that they were the funniest thing in the world. We would just bust up laughing at a crackhead. The best joke you could have is a crackhead joke. Ironically, middle school is also the time that I learned that my mom was a crackhead. So shit stopped being funny real quick. I can't remember exactly how I was exposed to, the truth of the matter that my mom was a drug addict, but I know that those crackhead jokes were no longer funny, because now every time somebody mentions a crackhead, I'm thinking about my mom. Wow, so that's where you've been this whole time, at a friend's house. You literally been doing drugs. I was just really embarrassed too. I would have these sleepovers and I would invite at least 7 girls over. Sometimes my mom would be there when they arrived, but in the middle of the night she's gone. Maybe a friend wakes up and they're looking for my mom to, ask a question or whatever, and my mom's nowhere to be found. And so they come to me like, hey, where's your mom? And I'm like, uh-oh, she's gone, and that was kind of the worst feeling, especially after I had found out exactly what was happening, because I knew that, you know, if she leaves, she might not come back for like a week. You know, she could really be gone. You know, and her little missions could last anywhere from a day to, you know, months. It could really take a long time for her to come back home. So when I found out that my mom was a drug addict, it definitely crushed me. I remember just asking God, like, why me? Like, why my mom? Like, why couldn't I just have a regular mom who does regular things? Really being like, oh, I just wish I had a new mom. Or, you know, like my aunts, I'm like, I wish that they were my mom, because I saw them as regular people, you know, who would show up to parent-teacher conferences, and I don't got to take my neighbor, you know, like, I just wanted a regular life. I ended up never telling anybody about my mom because I was just too embarrassed. I also didn't want anybody to feel pity for me, and I still feel like that to this day. I don't want people to feel pity for me. But then too, as an adolescent, I didn't want people to talk about me, you know, like in a negative way. That's when people started shooting on people, and I didn't want to be I didn't want to be the butt end of a bad joke, because man, that would have took me out. Just to keep that out of as an option, period, I didn't share my story. I didn't tell my friends. Honestly, a lot of my friends are just now finding out today with you. Coming of age and understanding that my mom had a problem, I had to grow up real quick. Now, like, adult thoughts started forming in my mind. So now I'm like, okay, my mom's a drug addict, right? If a friend finds out, you know, they may joke about it, right? But then a teacher might hear, and they may take it serious. Literally, this is what's going in my mind at like 11 and 12. I'm like, okay, nobody can find out, because if they do, I'm going to get taken away from my family. What I didn't mention was that when I was, I think maybe 3, me and my brother were removed from our home because of my mom's drug addiction. And we didn't know at the time. Again, we were kids. When I say all my life, I mean all my life. We were removed, and we were placed in custody of a foster care, a few different foster care families. And when I figured out what was going on in middle school, I just remembered that, and I was like, I cannot go back to foster care. I can't leave my granny, you know, like, nobody can find out. Like, I really had to grow up overnight, like, do my own hair, make sure that my grades were looking right, so that teachers wouldn't have a reason to call the house and find out that my mom wasn't there. My mom used to always say, if you don't go to school, the police is gonna come and take me to jail. So I was like, okay, you gotta be on your P's and Q's, because I can't get taken away, and I can't risk the chance of my mom going to jail either. It was a tough time. Middle school was such a tough time. I'm telling you, I hated it so much, but it really helped form who I am today. I didn't know that then. I just felt like I was under so much pressure, but you know, they say pressure makes diamonds. So again, back in middle school, I was met with brand new information, brand new knowledge about my mom's condition, and that brought about brand new emotions that I've never experienced, and I really didn't know how to express them without giving myself away, because again, I was trying to hide the fact that I had a addict for a parent, and that home was not the greatest place. I didn't want to expose myself. I did not know how to express myself, and it wasn't a conversation that was being had in the house. Like, everybody knew what was going on with my mom, but nobody was speaking on it, you know? At least not to us as children. I don't know, I can't remember about the adults. I remember my granny being very upset. I do remember that about the way that my mom was neglecting us. But as far as like a conversation, like my immediate family sitting us down and explaining to us what was happening, that never happened. You know, nobody ever checked in on us to, you know, see like how you doing. You know, I don't know if it's because, you know, they feel like maybe we were still oblivious to it. I feel like that's a problem. Like, that could have been a way for me to ask questions and also get clear on what was happening, because I was pretty much just left to assume the worst in my head. Now, when you first learn about drug addiction, they pretty much teach you don't do drugs because you can overdose, right? So that's like the first thing that comes to my head. I'm like, oh my God, my mom's gonna die, right? So I'm like 12, like, oh my God, my mom, she's gonna die of a drug overdose. And nobody wanted to talk about it in the family. I don't know if they thought like, oh, if we don't speak on it, then it'll go away or whatever, but I just feel like that was so strange. My brother was in high school, so I feel like at least he would have been old enough to comprehend, you know, to have a full conversation. And honestly, I don't know if they were having that talk with him, but they definitely weren't having it with me. And I was struggling because of it. I have to go to school and put on a face and act like I'm not hurting inside. I didn't know where my mom was. I didn't know if she was alive or not. And then she wouldn't call. We would call her phone back to back to back to back, and she just would not answer. When she did answer, it was real quick. Oh, baby, hey, yes, I'll come home later. I'll see you later. Yes, I promise I'll come home tonight. And it'll be like the greatest joy, you know, just to hear her voice and know that she's alive. But then as a child, you're kind of gullible, so now you're waiting by the phone. And let 2 hours go by, you call back and she don't answer. So now you're upset because you're like, okay, she just played me. Just imagine that, like, on a school night. Especially if you hungry, like, Mom, you don't come home and cook. And Mom like, yeah, I'm gonna come, you know, take that chicken out the freezer. So you taking it out thinking it's gonna be a chicken night. And Mom is literally nowhere to be found, like gone with the wind. Like, you don't know when you're gonna hear from her again. And it was literally tearing me apart. And I had nobody to talk to, so I used to kind of just try to bury it. And that caused me to like look for acceptance in other areas. So I started being involved with a lot of people who I should not have been friends with. No disrespect to y'all, but I should not have been hanging with y'all. Seriously, I like joined the clique and everything. Like, it was really bad. My mom would come home. She wouldn't just stay gone forever, like years. She would come back like, you know, every couple of weeks. Sometimes every couple of days, but then she's gone again. We probably see her for only 2 days and she's gone. Okay, so fast forward to high school. The year is 2007. Okay, so same situation is going on. Mom is pretty much in and out the house. But now it had gotten worse for me because now I'm getting older, right? And I'm having more questions and more realistic thoughts are running through my head, right? Also, my mom is exposing me to more street life. So not only did I find out that my mom was addicted to drugs, but I also learned that she was the drug dealer. Like, what? Like, it was a lot. And so pretty much she taught me the game. She has to report to somebody. They got to get their money. Then I started getting scared. Like, okay, now what if she don't have their money? And not only can you get robbed because people want what you have because you're a drug dealer and you're a woman, you can also come up short. And I mean, y'all seen the drug crime movie. If you don't have the money for the head honcho, then off with your head. My thoughts started to progress in high school in a negative way, and I mean rapidly. Luckily, in high school, I was introduced to the sewing club. Ooh, thank God for Miss Lately. In 9th grade, I joined the sewing club because, and thank God for my granny. My granny taught me how to sew, and I was always interested in sewing. Like, always. I love to like make clothes for my cats out of like socks. I know that sounds so weird, but church socks with the ruffle around the ankle, you know. So when I got the opportunity to actually learn how to sew on the sewing machine, I was like ecstatic. Like, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. This was how I began to release and express myself from just the everyday reminders that you ain't perfect, your life ain't perfect, and you ain't like these kids up here that you're going to school with. But really I was, but that's another story for another day. I remember starting high school and being so bad that my mom was away from home. Also, my grandmother had passed away. I really was just like kind of like losing my mind. I would lock myself in my closet upstairs in the dark and cry. Again, still had nobody to talk to, and also still trying to save face, still trying to protect my mom because I didn't want anything to happen to her. Despite everything, you know, all the lies, I still didn't want anything bad to happen to her. So I'm still living with this burden, living this lie when I really needed help. I didn't know how to ask for it. I would not ask for it because, again, I didn't want to reveal myself to anyone. So I would lock myself in the closet and just cry, you know, and I would make sure to take a cover with me so I could just scream into the cover or a pillow so that nobody could hear me. I could not have anybody ask me what's wrong because I literally would not. I would not be able to tell them. I would not. I would have to think of a lie because there was no way that I was going to expose my mom. Life was good when I started taking up fashion. I fell so in love with it. It literally was like a godsend to me. Like, God was like, if you could just get through the trauma of middle school, you know, and even just being an adolescent, if you can get to high school, I promise I'm going to give you something that's going to change your life. And He really did with fashion. I ended up, fashion was like my first love. I ended up becoming the president of the sewing club. Oh, thank God for Miss Lately. What's ironic is that the year that I graduated was the last year that they had the fashion program. And I just feel like that program saved my life. Literally, it saved me. I don't know who I would have been today if I hadn't had that elective as an outlet to express myself. I'm so grateful for, you know, the public education for providing us with that. But it really broke my heart to hear that they took it out as soon as, you know, my class graduated. Again, high school was not like, just because I had an outlet, you know, now to express myself, or even a distraction, you know, I'll call it that, to keep my mind off of what was really going on at home and what had been going on at home. It was still tough, y'all. It was still so tough. There is a store by my old house. It's a liquor store called Eddie's, and it's off of 108th and Western. Those of you who live in the area know exactly what I'm talking about. And my mom used to hang out there all the time. I mean, in the alley, in the front, in the parking lot, like just hanging out with all the other addicts. And I used to be so mad, like, Mom, you are better than this. What are you doing? I was judging those people. I really was. I'm like, why are you out here with these smokers? Knowing that she was a smoker too, but kind of putting her on a pedestal, like, but no, you're my mom. Like, no. And putting all that in perspective, I was able to know, like, these people have places that they can go to too. They just choose not to. And again, it's that battle of the mind. It's all mental. Even after all that I have been through, I still thank God. And I can remember crying so many days, like asking God, why me, you know? But I'm so grateful for this struggle. I am so grateful. Now, the really cool thing about high school, because one, I'm like on this high, right? Because I'm like sewing on a real industrial sewing machine, putting together fashion shows, competing in competitions. Man, it was so cool. And my mom, unfortunately, but fortunately, she had gotten arrested and she had to face the judge again. And the judge told her again, like, hey, you can complete this program or you can go to jail. And my mom chose to complete the program, which I'm so happy that she did, because, man, the best years of my life are when my mom is clean. The best days, the best moments of my life are when my mom is clean. And it's so crazy because I remember even in high school around this time, I remember me and my mom both gearing up for graduation again. I was graduating from high school and she was graduating from her drug program. And her drug program was 2 years. And I just remember thinking it was so dope. Like in the mornings, I remember listening to Let Us See, we both literally just gearing up like for graduation day. We literally like getting our affairs in order to graduate, we were just talking about all the things that we were going to do after graduation. I ended up staying in LA and going to FITM in downtown Los Angeles, and my mom had moved up to Moreno Valley because that's where we ended up buying a house. Unfortunately, about 2 or 3 years after we both graduated, my mom relapsed again. And this was around the time that I started playing with the idea of creating my own fashion line. I knew I wanted to be a designer, but I was like, that's not enough, because deep down, I just love helping people. I wanted to be a humanitarian too. When my mom had relapsed is when I was, again, like I said, gearing up for the brand. I was just thinking about my younger self, like, dang. I was thinking, man, I wish that I had the older me around when I was younger to help the younger me get through the traumas and the struggle. Just being so confused as a kid. Like, I wish that I had my teenage self around at least my older teenage self, right? I'm like, man, I would be able to tell my younger self, hey, you're not alone in this. There's places for you to go. Because, guys, I did not even know that there was. I was looking. I remember when I was old enough to Google, and I found out I was, knowledgeable on what AA was, and I was like, okay, so this is a place that alcoholics and NA too. And drug addicts go to express themselves and talk to other people who are just like them. And I was like, yo, I need to go to AA, like, because I need to talk to somebody, I was like, I need to talk to somebody. And this was when I was a little older. I was like pushing 18, where like the people couldn't come and take me. But two, I was still embarrassed and shy to share my story. Mom, I just want to say I love you so much, despite everything, and I'm so proud of you for turning your life around every time that you turned it around, no matter how many times you didn't get it right. Because I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for you. I just had a flashback. But I remember telling myself that I need to go to AA. But I saw that if you weren't like a member of AA, if you weren't like a drug addict, you couldn't sit in. This is when they had closed, what's it called? Like closed meetings and open meetings, but at the time I didn't know the difference. So I was like, man, I'm gonna create a space for people like me who have drug addicted family members I want to create a safe place for all of us to come together and talk, and express ourselves and encourage each other, or just cry with each other. I just wanted to feel like I wouldn't be judged. I really wanted a place where I could just let it out, like just regurgitate all my emotions over all of the years. Like I needed to get it out of me, but I needed to get it out of me with people who felt the same way as me, and I found out about Narconon. Although I never went. I was older when I found out about Narconon, and I low-key just never had the balls to go. Although when I was younger, I was like, I need to go. I never went, but I still feel like that is something that I could benefit from today. Now, the good news is the struggle and pain don't last always. This past April, my mom made 1 year clean. 1 year clean. That is phenomenal. And you know what makes it even better? She did not get a nudge from the judge. This was strictly her wanting to do better for her. She literally was tired of being out on the streets. She literally was like, I've had enough. I'm coming home. Me and my husband went and picked her up. We followed her home all the way to Moreno Valley, because what would piss me off is that my mom had a house in Moreno Valley, right? That's like over 75 miles away, okay? That's over an hour to get out here. And for some reason, but that's how strong drugs are. That is why it is a disease. She would travel over an hour just to get to LA, to sit in a driveway or a parking lot or an alley and get high for days and days and days and weeks and months and months. Like craziness. When you have a whole house fully furnished, you don't even pay a mortgage. Like the house is paid off. Like you got it made. A car is paid off. Like life is good. Hello, you have a swimming pool. Just so many things that I was like, what's wrong with this lady? But it's the drugs, the chemical reaction with the brain. That's a real thing, guys. That is such a real thing. And it's happening to a lot of people every single day. You got people in your family that is happening to right now. Don't cut them off. Don't write them off. It's not too late. My mom got clean all by herself. All by herself. I mean, well, with the help of us. But I'm so proud of her, because I know that that's not an easy thing to do. By the grace of God, I have not had to experience what it's like to be addicted to a drug. But because my mom is a drug addict, a recovering addict, I do suffer from addictive characteristics. Just a heads up for those of you who have family members, especially parents, who are addicts or recovering addicts, be aware of your addictive behaviors as well and work on them, because I'm working on mine. I'm so proud of my mom. I am so proud of her. She is the who and the why behind the brand. She is who I'm doing it for, and she is why I'm doing it. Now here's what's really, really, really dope. See, like when I said the best years of my life are when my mom is clean, I meant that with all of me. My mom and I have teamed up to create a nonprofit organization that will cater to and serve African American recovering addicts. Female first. We got to take baby steps. So right now we're just focused on African American women who are struggling and recovering addicts. And we take so much pride in that, because my mom is an African American woman who is a recovering addict. And like I said earlier, I have been indirectly affected because of her. So this really hit home for our race and our community. So I know some of you guys want to know, like, okay, so what's mom doing? She's doing her thug thing right now. No, but seriously, mom is doing really good. Mom is currently enrolled in school and she is studying to become a drug counselor. How perfect. Like, look how God took the struggle and made it to be glorified. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom is literally studying right now to become a certified drug counselor. How freaking dope is that? Somebody coming from the struggle, coming from experience, to talk and teach and help. I told my mom that in the fall I want to go ahead and get certified as well, because unlike her, I haven't lived it, you know, at least not in her shoes. She has been on the addiction side, so she knows how to reach these people. She knows how to help them. She knows how to talk to them. She knows what behaviors to look for, because she done been there. Like I said, all my life. In August of 2020, I will be 28 years old. My mom has been struggling with drugs, I'm sure, since before I was born. She knows drugs. She knows how to identify. Now, me, on the other hand, I don't. So I feel like it's my duty to get educated on how I can help. I don't want to just dish out money to help people, you know. I want to get hands on. I want to get in that thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's my duty to educate myself so that I will know how to approach, and again, like, the behaviors to look for, the treatments. I need to know about the different drugs. It's a really big thing. And I'm just so proud that I'm even able to be a part of the war on drugs. I know it was pretty lengthy, guys, but I really needed you guys to know exactly what it is that you're supporting when you shop with me. So mom is on her way to get her credentials, and I will be starting my journey off in the fall. So this is how we are serving, spreading awareness, and giving back. I feel like we have to do better as a community, because not enough light is being shed on drug addiction and alcohol addiction. You know, I understand that this is not a glamorous topic to talk about. I know it's not like fun. This is really a tough conversation to have, but the more we have it, the easier it'll become, and the more that we can help save lives. We have to do better. We have to do better, especially in the Black and brown community. Not enough light is being shed, and this is why I decided to tether my brand to this cause. I wanted to help be the change in the world that I wanted to see. So when you see my brand, CalhounnuohlaC, pop up on your screen, on your IG or on your Facebook or wherever, I don't want you to only think of us as just another fashion brand. I want you to consider, hey, this is an opportunity for me to give back to the drug community. This is an opportunity for me to make a change, to make a difference. It's not about the money. It's not about the fashion. Okay? It's literally about saving lives. The CalhounnuohlaC brand is fighting the war on drugs. Now, that can look a lot of different ways, but this is our way. If you're inspired to share, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will receive you with open arms, okay? Anything that you want to know and you feel like I may have the answer for you, please reach out to me. Or even if you just need somebody to talk to, because like I said, when I was younger, I didn't have that. By the grace of God, God has placed a lot of amazing people in my life who I am now able to talk to safely. I'm able to vent to these people and they be like, girl, I know, I've been there. My mama too. Oh, it's so crazy how the universe be conjuring up stuff. Y'all, like I said, if you yourself are a recovering addict, or if you have been indirectly affected just like I was, and you want to share your story, reach out to me. Let's talk. We got to spread awareness. We got to let the world know just how serious drug addiction is. It starts with us, guys. Nobody is going to come to save us. We have to be our own heroes. So speak up. I encourage you to speak to your loved ones. Talk to your families who are struggling addicts. Let them know that you love them and don't give up on them. Whatever you do, don't give up on them. Listen, I never gave up on my mom. No matter how much I was hurt, I could not. Something in me would not let me give up on her. I couldn't. I loved her too much. I just kept believing, like, no, one day. And one day came. One day came a few times, I'm just grateful to God that I was able to see that one day. That's why I encourage you guys to continue to love on your family and your friends who are recovering addicts, because they need help. Don't give up on them. Now, the reason for this video is because I really wanted to get clear on who we are and what it is that you guys are supporting and where is your money going to. And I hope that I was able to answer all these questions for you guys and give you guys a little sense of security about how your dollars are being recycled back into the community. I have to say thank you to everybody who have supported me thus far. All of your orders, guys. Anybody who has placed an order or who will place an order, thank you. It's because of you pouring into my brand that I'm able to pour back into my community. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Before I get out of here, I just wanted to remind you guys that we're not only a fashion brand. We're not just a women's apparel brand. We're in the business of changing lives and changing the narrative for the betterment of our people. I hope that this video was able to send encouragement to those of you who needed it. I feel like there's some of you who have family members in the struggle and y'all going through it right now. And I just want to let you know that I'm with you and you are not alone. Again, I encourage you to get involved and help us fight the war on drugs, because it's going to be one that we're going to be fighting for a minute, y'all. Continue to love on your family and your friends. And if you suspect someone in your family or in your inner circle is abusing drugs, I encourage you to encourage them to seek help. Thank you guys. I'll see you later.